Hey man, so let's just kick this off. Talk about fighting Chris Hordecki back in Bellator.
Fighting Chris Odeki was, it was a big learning experience for me. I took the fight on 2 weeks' notice. Literally just found out on 2 weeks' notice, and I think I did really well in that fight, and I was happy with my performance. And look what happened afterwards. With being on the Ultimate Fighter and fighting in the UFC. I think it got my name out there, and I'm very blessed to have that fight, and no regrets at all. Very happy for it.
Would you consider that one of your bigger signature fights of your career?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely, it's a name, He's a big name in Canada. Yeah, he's young, but he's been around forever, He's made a name for himself. And so, yeah, it's definitely been one of the bigger fights, probably the biggest fight of my career so far. So, yeah.
Let's just talk a little bit about this Ultimate Fighter tryouts. Talk me through how the tryouts went.
The tryouts was long, man. It was a long, drawn-out process. You went out there, tried out. Honestly, in my situation, I didn't even know I was going out there, to be quite honest. I think I finalized it literally the day before it happened, before the tryouts. My girlfriend said, babe, you need to go. We rented a car and did the tryouts, made it through all the stages, and I was kind of shocked, and everybody believed I was going to get a callback, and I'm just sitting there waiting for a callback, and sure enough, I got a callback, and went out there, did all the interviews and the photo shoots and all that good stuff, and, then it was a waiting process again. You wait for another callback, and, when it happened, it was literally, one of the best moments of my life. I literally cried, and, it was a great moment to realize, you're going to have a shot to be on the Ultimate Fighter.
How was the interview process in, I believe it was January? We had Justin Lawrence on the show, and he was talking to us about how he got into a shouting match with one of the producers.
Yeah, no, it was more laid back for me. The guy doing the interviews was he was going after me a little bit. I like to dress nice. I'm a well-dressed guy, and he made comments about me being gay. He's like, "You sure you're not gay?" And I'm like, "Man, I've got a girl. Like, there's no way, mate." And I just threw it back to his face, and had fun with him. And I guess it's something that they really liked about me. People on the panel were laughing, and it might have been one of the things that kind of got me in.
Okay, Chris, so just talk about your fight to get into the house.
Yeah, my fight to get into the house, I fought Chael Saunders. Leading up to throughout the whole interview stages and everything, I became really close with Chael Saunders. It was pretty funny. And, every vision I had of being in the tough house was with Chael Saunders. We were pretty cool, kept in touch on Twitter. We had each other's numbers. We would talk. And then just my luck, man. As soon as I called him, I just had this feeling it was me. And sure enough, Dana White called me up there, and I'm like, fuck, man, I have to fight somebody, I would consider, a friend. And, I won the fight, and after coming back, the guy's been brilliant. He's, said that he's been really proud of me and everything. So, he's a really good guy, and he took it well. So I'm thankful for that.
So looking back at your Ultimate Fighter experience in the house, what was the hardest part about being in that house?
The hardest part, I would definitely say, is, I think everybody knows my story from, the show and the fact that I don't really have a family and stuff. But the people I do have, and, my little brother and my girlfriend, that would probably make it the hardest part in being on the show is you had no contact with them. And, that was very, very difficult. But, while I was there, I kept a journal, and I wrote to my brother and my girlfriend every single day. That kind of relieved some of the pressure. But, for sure, it doesn't take everything away.
When you were in the house, you're getting some great training. Just talk about somebody in the house, one of the coaches that you think really helped your game.
I'd have to say Justin Buchholz, man. I think we pretty much both have the same type of game plan. We both want to stand up and bang with people, and other people want to take us down. They're fearful of standing and banging, and so people want to take us down. We have to get back up, and at the beginning of the season, I was getting taken down by some of my teammates, and I might be held down for like a minute or so, and I'm just like, fuck, man, like I got to do something about this. And he kind of took me under his wing, and so did all the other alpha male guys, and they're all wrestlers, and helped me with stand-ups and everything like that. And man, then it became very, very stressful for people to spar me on my team, because if you did take me down, I had a spring in my ass. I think Andy touched on it. I'm right back on my feet and just standing, and that's not really a good thing. So, Buck Holtz and yeah, some of the guys on the team actually, Joe Proctor, he helped me with jiu-jitsu, and same with Al. He gave me great rounds. So those two guys on my team as well.
Just mentioned those two guys. Who did you spend the most time with in the house? Who'd you hang with in the house?
I didn't particularly spend just my amount of time with one specific person. Blue team was really, really tight, and actually, I remember Jeremy Larson. He said, "Geez, what is it with you guys?" We're walking through the house. He goes, "What is it with you guys? We can never get you guys one-on-one. You're always like hunting in a pack or something, And I mean, we were all pretty much around each other, 24/7, all hanging out in the same room downstairs in the blue room. But aside from that, I'd have to say I spent a little bit more time with Andy Ogle and Joe Proctor. I could relate to Joe Proctor a little bit more because we had the same upbringings, and his story pretty much touched me, and vice versa. And then Andy Ogle, I kind of knew about him because we had the same agent, My agent would tell me about this Andy Ogle kid, and I'm like, all right, who is this British wanker? I don't know who he is. I don't really care. And then, me and him become best mates, and, I love the kid now. I mean, I really could say that Joe Proctor and Diogo, I love them like brothers. I went there not expecting much, and I came home with 2 extra brothers.
What did you do inside the house to kill some time?
Man, I'm a football player, or a soccer player, man. I played in college and all my life, and, I had the, I guess you would say the production team, you had a special list, and you could order whatever you want as long as it got cleared. So I had them order me a football or soccer ball, and me and Andy Ogle would kick it around at night talking. On our days off, we'd get some of the mates together, and we'd all have a kickabout. So, playing football.
Let's move on to your first fight in the house against Sam. Talk me through the fight.
My first fight in the house against Sam. I went out there, really thinking that, like, my leg kicks were going to be superior and take him out with that, but there was a little bit of, barrier between me and Masatong. I didn't really understand some of the things he was telling me. He's telling, it made it sound like don't throw your right leg kick, which, I mean, I've had past coaches, Thai coaches tell me you have something special in that right leg of yours, and, I believe in it. I think I threw it like maybe 3 times. When they landed, they were devastating. But I got the vibe of not to throw it because of his right hand. So I went out there trying to set up. I actually predicted a head kick knockout in one of my interviews before the fight, and really trying to set that up. And I was really bitter to not be able to finish it in that first round after landing that head kick. I have to take my hat off to Sam. He's a very tough individual. I talked to him after the fight in the house, and he told me about, what he felt and didn't know he was in a fight. And then he's like, oh, shit, I was in a fight. And, he's fighting back and, kid stuff. And, my hat goes off to him. But, yeah, in the end, I was bitter to not finish him.
Moving on to the next fight in the house, just talk me through it.
My fight against Chael, very, very controversial, I feel. I don't see how you can give him the first round at all, in no way, shape, or form. I didn't watch the fight, actually, when I came home. I just watched the fight probably I watched it on Father's Day. I watched the fight on Father's Day, and I was just confirmed of everything I felt, Second round, I felt I was winning as well. You could give him it at the end of the round. He had a little flurry. Okay, that's 1-1. You go to a third round, and I felt that would have been a good thing for the fans and, for me and Chael, go out there and slug it out, But unfortunately, that didn't happen. And, what happened happened. You can't do anything about it now.
Have you had some time to sit down and watch the entire season yet?
Actually, I have not watched one episode.
Do you plan on sitting down and watching it soon, or no interest?
The thing is when I did watch my fight, the day that I got back, I just watched some of the episode of when I fought Sam, and I immediately turned it off after the fight and told my girlfriend and her mom, I said, dang, I really don't want to watch this anymore. This is kind of weird seeing me on TV, so that's kind of like the reason why I didn't want to watch it. It's just kind of weird seeing myself on TV and stuff like that. Something I got to get used to, I guess.
So let's move on here. After the semifinals, you guys get out of the house. I believe the UFC put you up at Texas Station for one night and then moved you over to the Palms. Just talk about that.
Yeah, that's correct. As soon as we got out, obviously we get our phones and everything like that. So, naturally I called my girlfriend up, man. She's crying hysterically and couldn't believe it was me. And, it took, I think, literally 2 minutes for her to be able to breathe and be able to talk to me. And, and then I just, I think I stayed up till 4 in the morning, mate, talking on the phone with her that night in Palace Station. And then the next day, we went to the Palms, and that's where we stayed for the remainder of our time there before the finale fights.
Get out of the house, you finally got your freedom, but you got to prepare for Miles at the Ultimate Fighter finale. How tough was that?
It was, I'm not going to lie, mate, it was probably one of the toughest things I've had to do because, the relationship that I do have with my girlfriend and the relationship I do have with my brother, I know this is UFC. I knew that it was for a contract, but, for me, I'm a family man first. And, to have my family there and come out, it was kind of like everything else took a back seat in a way, and I still train very hard. There's no denying that. My brother helps me out with my Thai boxing. He's a very good Thai boxer himself, and we did our thing. So there's no excuses or anything, but there's not just physically, there's not just a physical thing in fighting. Mentally you have to be there as well, and I was there, but, I was also somewhere else. I was very excited to see my family, what I consider my family, and my girlfriend and my little brother. So it was very difficult.
Talked to a lot of guys. Do you feel that it was kind of unfair that you guys had only 1 week to prepare for this fight? All previous seasons, the guys usually had at least a couple of months from the time they found out who they were fighting to the time they stepped into the cage. Obviously, you don't want to make excuses, but that had to play a bit of a factor into this fight, don't you think?
Oh, for sure it did, not having the, time to really get a training camp or really heal your body up. But that was the name of the game. And, Dana White, set this up for a reason this way, it wasn't going to be easy. We knew that going in, and it surely wasn't, especially for me, all my fights was at the end. I fought, Sam at the end, and then maybe 2-3 weeks later, I fight Chael, and then I have another, 2 weeks until I fight Miles. It was very, very difficult and very taxing on the body to cut weight like that. I hadn't had to cut weight like that since really wrestling in high school, where you cut weight every single weekend.
Okay, man, so you had your shot at making it into the UFC. You didn't get the win. Where'd you go from here?
No. I was actually told after that I was going to be held. They were going to keep me.
Awesome.
And, I was told that. But actually, unfortunately, I would say maybe 4 or 5 days ago, I found out that I have been cut. And Sean Shelby just said, go outside of UFC and get 2 wins, and we'll have you right back. So that's a good thing to be on their radar, and I definitely know that they're looking out for me. So it's not a big deal to me. I actually have 2 fights already lined up, so hopefully we can, go out there and get some wins, put some guys to sleep, and get right back where I should be.
We got a big fight coming up this weekend. Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen. Who'd you got, and how will it finish?
I got to go with Anderson Silva, myself being a striker and everything. that guy's striking is just on another planet, man. And I really hope that he does something very, very, impressive. Chael Sonnen's been, running his mouth a lot, and I think he's crossed that line. Talking about Brazil and talking about Anderson Silva's family, that's just something you don't do. And I hope that Anderson Silva goes out there and makes him pay for that.
Okay, man, and anything you'd like to promote, such as your Twitter or Facebook?
Yeah, you can follow me at @CutieIsGood on Twitter, and then on my fan page, if you click on me, just Chris Saunders, that's really it.
Okay, Chris, thanks for doing this, man.
Appreciate it. Cheers, mate.